The rain had not stopped for 3 days when Ethan Cross arrived in the forgotten town of Black Hollow. Every local warned him about wandering after midnight, but no one explained why. As a journalist fascinated by abandoned places, Ethan ignored the whispers. That night, while walking through the fog-covered streets, he noticed an enormous Victorian library standing where an empty square had existed earlier that day. Its ancient clock struck 12, and the heavy wooden doors slowly opened by themselves. Inside, endless shelves stretched farther than the eye could see. Candles burned without melting, and dust floated through the silent air like tiny ghosts. Behind a massive oak desk sat an elderly librarian dressed entirely in black. "You are late," she said without looking up. "I've never been here before." "No one comes here for the first time." Her strange answer sent chills through Ethan's body. The librarian introduced herself only as Miss Eleanor. She explained that every visitor had a book waiting for them, a book containing dreams they had never remembered having. Curious, Ethan followed her through impossible corridors that seemed to rearrange themselves whenever he looked away. She stopped before a shelf marked Forbidden Dreams. A thick leather-bound volume slid out on its own. On the cover, written in silver letters, was Ethan's full name. His hands trembled. He had never seen this book before, yet when he opened the first page, he found a detailed description of a nightmare he had experienced at the age of 8. A nightmare he had never told another soul. The final sentence froze his blood. "Turn the next page, and your future will begin to disappear." Despite the warning, Ethan couldn't resist. He turned the page. The ink shifted before his eyes, forming words that described exactly what was happening in the room. Then it described what would happen next. "The candle beside him will fall." Crash, the candle toppled. "He will ask the librarian if this is a trick." Ethan heard himself ask. "Is this some kind of trick?" Miss Eleanor smiled sadly. "The book does not predict the future. It remembers it." Confused, Ethan demanded an explanation. She revealed that the library existed outside ordinary time. Every dream ever dreamed, every nightmare ever forgotten, and every future already lived were stored within these shelves. Most visitors left before opening their books. Those who continued never returned unchanged. As Ethan read further, he discovered horrifying events waiting for him. His apartment would burn. His closest friend would betray him. Someone wearing a faceless porcelain mask would hunt him through endless hallways. Each event appeared impossible. Until his phone suddenly rang. His landlord screamed through the speaker. "Ethan! Your apartment is on fire." His legs weakened. Everything written inside the book was becoming reality. The librarian quietly whispered, "You still have time." Time for what? To stop reading. But Ethan was already trapped. The next page refused to stay closed. The words continued writing themselves. "Tonight, someone will steal your name." The library suddenly became colder. Every candle extinguished at once. Darkness swallowed the endless shelves. Then footsteps echoed between the aisles, slow, heavy, patient. A tall figure emerged wearing a cracked porcelain mask with no eyes or mouth. Instead of speaking, it held a blank book. Miss Eleanor stepped backward. "He has come." "Who is he?" "The collector." She explained that every forbidden dream demanded payment. Some lost memories, others lost years of their lives. A few lost their names. Without warning, the masked figure opened the blank book. Ethan felt dizzy, his memories blurred, his childhood. His parents, his own birthday, they faded like smoke. Even worse, the librarian suddenly looked confused. "Who are you?" She no longer recognized him. His identity had begun disappearing from reality. Desperate, Ethan searched the shelves for answers. Thousands of books whispered his forgotten memories. He followed the voices until he found a hidden staircase leading beneath the library. Below waited an enormous chamber filled with glass jars. Inside each jar floated glowing names, millions of them. Each belonged to someone erased from existence. One jar pulsed brighter than the others. The label read. Ethan Cross. The collector slowly descended the stairs behind him. There was nowhere left to run. Ethan grabbed the glowing jar. Instantly, forgotten memories flooded back into his mind. He remembered visiting this library once before. As a frightened child after wandering into the woods, Miss Eleanor had saved him from the collector. But saving him came at a terrible price. She erased his memory of the library and promised that one day he would return to finish what had begun. The librarian confessed the truth. She was not protecting the books. She was protecting humanity. The collector fed upon dreams, because dreams contained every possibility of the future. If enough dreams vanished, imagination itself would disappear. No art. No hope. No love. Only empty existence. Miss Eleanor revealed one final secret. She had once been a visitor just like Ethan, centuries earlier. Now she could never leave. The library had become her prison. She handed Ethan an ancient silver key. There is one way to end this. But only one of us can walk away. The collector attacked. Books exploded from shelves. Pages swirled through the air like black birds. The library trembled as impossible walls collapsed. Ethan sprinted toward a massive iron door hidden behind the oldest shelf. The silver key fit perfectly. As the lock clicked open, a deafening scream echoed through the library. The collector had arrived behind him. Beyond the iron door lay the Heart Archive. A single glowing book rested on a stone pedestal. Its title read, "The First Dream." Miss Eleanor gasped. "No one has opened that book for 1,000 years." The collector lunged forward. Without thinking, Ethan opened the ancient volume. Blinding white light erupted across the library. Every nightmare, every stolen memory, every forgotten name escaped into the air. Glass jars shattered. Books reopened. Dreams returned to their rightful owners. The collector screamed as his porcelain mask cracked into dust before dissolving completely. Silence followed. The endless library slowly began disappearing. Walls faded into mist. Shelves crumbled into floating pages. Miss Eleanor smiled peacefully. "My time is over." Her body dissolved into silver light. The ancient desk remained. Upon it rested a single brass nameplate. The letters slowly changed. Librarian, Ethan Cross. He tried to leave. The doors would not open. Outside, dawn arrived over Black Hollow. But the library no longer existed for ordinary people. Only those haunted by forbidden dreams could find it. Years later, frightened visitors would enter through mysterious doors that appeared only at midnight. Behind the desk, they would find a young librarian waiting patiently. Each would receive a book bearing their own name. And before handing it over, Ethan would always speak the same warning once given to him.